Once a year, in a vast red and gold hall in the heart of Beijing, almost 3,000 people gather to raise their hands. They are the members of the largest parliament in the world, the National People's Congress of the People's Republic of China. No other legislature on earth comes close to its size. And yet it may also be the least powerful assembly of its kind anywhere. A parliament that in its entire history has almost never once said no. This is the story of an institution built on a scale nothing else can match, that meets for barely 2 weeks a year and passes nearly every law by a landslide. Because, as we'll see, almost every decision it makes has already been made long before a single hand goes up. Start with the sheer numbers, because they are staggering. The National People's Congress has close to 3,000 delegates, around 2,900 of them. Set that against the parliaments you know. The United States House of Representatives has 435 members. The British House of Commons, 650. Even India, the world's most populous democracy, sends 543 to its lower house. The Congress dwarfs them all. When it meets, it fills the Great Hall of the People, a colossal building on the edge of Tiananmen Square, with an auditorium that can seat 10,000. Row upon row upon row of delegates, stretching back into the distance, a parliament the size of a small town. But here is the first strange thing about this enormous body. It hardly ever meets. The full National People's Congress gathers in plenary session just once a year, usually in March, and only for around 10 days to 2 weeks. That is it. Think about what that means. A working legislature, one that scrutinizes budgets, debates competing bills, and hammers out the fine print of law, cannot possibly do that job in 10 days, with 3,000 people in one room. It is simply too large, and it sits for far too short a time. So the real detailed work of legislating had to be handed to something much smaller and much more permanent. That something is the Standing Committee. When the Great Congress is not in session, which is to say for 50 weeks of every year, its powers are exercised by a compact inner body of around 175 members. This Standing Committee meets regularly, roughly every couple of months, and it is here that most of China's national laws are actually written, debated, and passed. The full Congress, in effect, delegates its authority to this small group, and then meets once a year to bless the result. So the 3,000 are the face of the institution. But the real legislative machinery is this far smaller committee, working quietly year-round, out of the spotlight. So, who are these delegates and how do they get there? Not, for the most part, by any vote you would recognize. Ordinary Chinese citizens do directly elect their local congresses, at the level of the county and the township. But that is where direct election stops. Those local congresses then elect the delegates to the level above them. Those in turn elect the level above that, and so on up a pyramid of assemblies until at the very top, the provincial congresses choose the delegates to the national one. It is election by tiers, indirect, filtered, and stacked. By the time you reach the National People's Congress, its members have been chosen not by the public, but by the layer of the state just beneath them. And then there is the voting. When the National People's Congress casts its ballots, the results are astonishing, and almost always the same. Laws pass by margins of thousands to a handful. Resolutions are approved with only a scattering of opposing votes, or none at all. In its entire history, the Congress has essentially never rejected a bill placed before it by the leadership. To observers in the West, This earned it a famous dismissive nickname, the Rubber Stamp Parliament. Its role on this view is not to argue over whether a law should pass, that has already been settled, but simply, formally, to make it official. The debate, if there is one, happens somewhere else entirely. That somewhere else is the Chinese Communist Party. To understand the Congress, you have to understand that in China, the state and the party are not the same thing, and the party comes first. The Communist Party leads the country, the government carries out its will, and the National People's Congress gives the party's decisions the shape and authority of law. This is not hidden. The leadership of the Communist Party is written directly into China's constitution. Real power over policy, personnel, and direction sits inside the party's own bodies, long before anything reaches the Congress floor. The Congress does not check that power or contest it. It ratifies it. It takes what the party has decided and turns it into the law of the land. And yet, do not mistake it for meaningless. The National People's Congress holds real constitutional authority, and when it acts, the effects are enormous. It formally elects China's president and appoints the premier and the government. It alone can amend the constitution. In 2018, it did exactly that, voting to abolish the two-term limit on the presidency and clearing the way for Xi Jinping to remain in power indefinitely. Its standing committee imposed the sweeping national security law on Hong Kong. When the party wants a decision made legal, permanent, and beyond challenge, the Congress is the instrument that does it. Its hands may be raised on command, but what those raised hands enact can reshape the lives of more than 1 billion people. To Western eyes, a parliament that never says no can look like an empty ritual. But China does not see it that way, and it is worth understanding why. The government describes its system as whole process people's democracy, a model, it argues, that gathers the views of the people through consultation and study, builds a broad consensus, and then acts on it through the party without the division, gridlock, and endless campaigning of Western elections. Meeting alongside the Congress each March is a second advisory body, the People's Political Consultative Conference. Together, the two are known as the Two Sessions. Supporters present all this as a system built for unity and stability, tuned to the good of the whole. Critics see something simpler, the machinery of one-party control, dressed in the robes of a parliament. So the National People's Congress ends in a paradox. It is the single largest legislative assembly that human beings have ever gathered, and one that has never, in practice, defied the government it formally exists to oversee. It is less a place where power is fought over than a stage on which power is displayed, a grand annual ceremony where nearly 3,000 raised hands transform the decisions of a small elite into the binding law of a fifth of humanity. To its supporters, it is democracy of a different, more orderly kind. To its critics, it is theater. But either way, it is one of the most revealing sights in world politics, because to watch the great hall of the people fill and those thousands of hands rise together is to see, with unusual clarity, exactly how China is really run.